Hello! I have an interesting and wonderful house for you today here in Southampton, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109. We're only a couple blocks off of Mackland, which is just down that way and around the corner. So walk to restaurants, shops, things like that. This house was built in 1935. So picture that. That's the middle of the Great Depression, and in most places there aren't any homes being built. St. Louis, though, that's not the case. This whole neighborhood is from that era. And there's some really beautiful things that were done with this era of architecture. So this is what would be considered a very good example of a St. Louis gingerbread. So let me point out some of the little styles that we have. We have obviously the stonework, which in comparison to the 1920s homes that were more the craftsman era, it's less, those have a little bit more randomness to them. These, they're actually quite angularly cut. And in this house in particular, you can see they did that with the pattern around the doorway. Coming around the side, we have another really cool thing here. I have no idea what this is called. Maybe someone else will know. This little tiled mosaic piece made up of broken tiles. That's original to the home. That's what they used to do when they built these. It gives a really nice little bit of detail. Now here's something else that's kind of cool. So you see this? This is the vent for the furnace and everything. Then look on this wall where we have these two windows. There's no chimney there. Remember that when we go inside. So coming back around, here's a few other cool things. We have a little mailbox where the mail goes directly in through the wall. And on these gingerbread houses, the doors are one of the key features. Note it's a round door and does have stained glass, which is just beautiful and something that was really only done on this era. We also have stained glass back here. House originally had steam heat, but that's been changed over. So now there's air conditioning as well, which is a good thing. Archway here. And remember when I mentioned about the chimney? So we have what looks like a fireplace here. Well, it's not. Remember, there's no chimney up there. This is purely for decoration, which is one of the awesome things about this era of architecture. And again, you can see that matching crazy pattern tile on the floor here too. So here we go to the living room. And this was where the living room radiator was made into a little display shelf. Just want to show over here too, we have a couple of stained glass windows framing the fireplace. Coming through, we have the formal dining room. Again, another little display area where the radiator used to be. And you can see the arches in this house, a little different, but the theme continues throughout. And if you were to go into each of these houses, they would all have similar differences, where they would all have these little things that were done uniquely to the house, but are very different from each other house next door to it. They're all the same but different, which is really the cool thing about this era of architecture. Beautiful wood floors. We actually have here a really good sized closet, which is not common in this era. Wonderful doors. This was around the time that plywood came into being, and that's when the doors were built like this, rather than the chunky bars and then little bits of wood here and there, the way they were prior to World War I, basically. They created this style, which is good. Second bedroom, currently being used as an office, with the bookshelf where the radiator once was. So, looking around, this one has a smaller closet. I want to point out this window. you can see here, it is a double pane window, even though it's wooden. Coming through to the bathroom. Nicely tiled. This has obviously been updated. One-piece tub kit, which is good. No risk of that leaking or the wall failing. Now, upstairs here, we have a gigantic primary owner's suite. So we have the bedroom around to one side. And then to the other, what you could say is a sitting area, but it's almost more of a extra living room. And again, another piece of stained glass here in this curved window. And interestingly, because we're so close to the roof, these rooms can get a little warm. There is an exhaust fan that was put in there, which is an ingenious idea. There's also air conditioning, obviously. So we have another half bathroom here. And as we come down to the basement, which is just through the other door and beneath where we were, the basement is technically unfinished. So it's the original stone walls, as you can see, which all look really good. And I wouldn't see any need to finish it more than this. It works great for what it is, a nice evening entertainment space, place for friends to gather, hang out, or party as you desire. But again, we're leaving all of the joists open, so there's good aeration, and if you have to add electric or cable or whatever they may invent in the future that replaces any of that, you can do it without having to tear a ceiling up in order to do so. On the other side, we have the washer and dryer. And again, there's the furnace, which is a modern furnace, hot water heater, instead of the old school boiler, which was what was in this house originally. And that's why we don't have to have those radiators everywhere. Coming back through, we have the kitchen. Kitchen is a good size and very typical of this era. So thinking 1935, this was right when built-in kitchens became a thing. So it was the first era where you had counters that went all the way across, and cabinets above, rather than a separate sink bolted to the wall, a stove, a monitor top refrigerator, and a Hoosier cabinet, which is what they call, which means they were made in Indiana. It's not the way St. Louis people think the word Hoosier, but it was the company that made them. And it's like a all-in-one kitchen contraption, countertop, cabinet thing. So, nice kitchen. Let's see if we can get it from back here. That looks good. And then we are coming out here to the extra room, kind of a sunroom, but again, because it's open to the kitchen, you get the cool air or heat from it. So it's really another multi-purpose room here. That all looks really good. And then as we come down, we have the backyard. Private terrace area. Next to a two-car garage. Just tell you, it's a two-car garage. Detached is what it is. It's being used for storage of everything to keep the house clean now. So that's just a garage. And we have air conditioning on the side, as well as a little sidewalk, which goes back to the front. Walk out to the basement. Those are amazing. So whenever you have to buy a new washing machine, or you want to put a basement fridge down there, you can do it through that rather than having to carry it through the house and down the really crooked staircase. So I'm going to end right here on one of the last features, which is a telephone box. Such a cool thing, and you'll notice the same archway mirrors the one here. I hope you've enjoyed the tour of this little gingerbread house, which is TARDIS-like in that it's so much larger on the inside the way it feels than it looks on the outside. Thank you very much. Please remember to like and subscribe.